Welcome to Savvy Business, Life Unscripted, with your host, Christina Rivera, where our guests share their wisdom and valuable business tips, empowering our audience to expand their personal potential.
Hi, Donna, Serdula. Welcome to Savvy Broadcasting and Life Unscripted. I'm so grateful to have you here today. We're going to talk about a very important topic. I don't think we've gone deep into this topic, and that is leveraging LinkedIn to brand yourself and your business. It's so important. I find one of the most optimal tools I've used for business, finding possible clients, leads, and also other people that I can collaborate with in the business world. But often the tool of LinkedIn, which is such a powerful tool, isn't used to its optimum potential. But you're going to show us how we can do that. And I'm really grateful to have you do that. But first, just share a little bit about your backstory and what brought you into the business world.
Sure. Hi, Christina. It is so nice to be here and chatting with you today. Thank you for having me.
You betcha.
I started my business in 2009. And back then, LinkedIn was something that a lot of people weren't talking about. It really wasn't the social media of the day. I think at that time people were going, more towards, Facebook and Twitter. But there was something about LinkedIn that really called me, and it had been calling me. I joined back in 2005. Do you remember when you joined LinkedIn?
I think it might have been 2008 when I started my biz.
Yeah. It is very natural for a person to say, oh, you know what? I want opportunity and my network is important to me. Let me start to look at LinkedIn as a viable option, to build and to use it as a tool. But I was working in corporate. I was in a sales role, and LinkedIn was something that helped me build my book of business. It helped me when I was prospecting. It helped me, really forge a strong network. And it was while I was using it that I looked around and I noticed that very few people were using it adequately. No one saw the potential of the profile, and that no one really used the profile in a really smart, strategic way. For me, I recognized, because of my years of cold calling, I always wanted to know who I was talking to.
Yes.
And so whenever I would type a person's name, I didn't type their company. I typed their name into the search engine, and the profile invariably was the very first thing that would show up. And I would hungrily jump on it, trying to get a sense of who this person was. What did they represent? How could I interface with them? How could I connect with them? And almost always it was nothing more than, I was either empty or it was a copy and paste of a dull, out of date resume. And it really didn't speak to anything. So it was that realization for me that the LinkedIn profile is really, it's your reputation, it's your brand. Yeah. And you need to really use it.
And I find, do you notice when you fill out the profile that it'll say you're 80% filled out or 50%? People aren't optimizing using the full potential of all the information they could put into the profile. And they'll just put, like you said, a copy paste of my resume. And then literally it's like, it's my resume. It's boring, cut, dry. And it's like a billion other resumes you see out there, but nothing to say, who is my character? What is my value set or anything like that?
What differentiates me? What do I stand for? Why do I do what I do? And how do I help people? Right? Those are all the types of questions we want to answer. But what I realized is it really doesn't matter who you are or what you do. It's hard to write about yourself. It's so hard to gain that focus because you sit so close and you've been through your career. You know how it shifted and changed and where it's taken you, but it's really hard to articulate that and to articulate it in a way that makes sense to people. And so when I started my business, it was really about helping people tell their story, helping people see their value, helping people really understand, all of those things, and then helping them articulate it and actually articulating it for them, creating that profile. And once that profile is up and it's written, it's optimized, amazing things happen. Wow. Amazing things because people are looking for someone like you. Yeah. And they're putting in keywords. They're trying to find you. You just have to let people know that you're there, and you have to use the same words that they're using in their search.
So it's like a little bit of SEO going on for yourself.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Now, interestingly, I recall someone saying many years ago that they saw the different social medias as different types of get-togethers. So she always saw Facebook as like the backyard family barbecue. Anything
Oh, yeah.
goes. Everyone shows up schleppy with their chancletas on, and stuff like, Pinterest is where everyone's getting together and just sharing their photo albums. But she said LinkedIn was special because she said for her, LinkedIn's a very, maybe sometimes business casual cocktail party where we're there to help serve each other, but it's definitely has a sense of not everything goes.
Yeah, it's professional.
Yeah.
It's career oriented. It's your industry, and I look at it in a very similar way where when we think of our audience on Facebook or Instagram, it's our friends and it's our family, right? But when we're on LinkedIn, that audience, it could be our employer, it could be our colleagues, it could be our clients, it's our prospects, it's other peers in our industry. Right. So it really is when you're on LinkedIn, that audience is different. And because it's different, your messaging has to be a little different as well.
Yeah. And let's go here a little bit in that people will say, well, I just want to be me and authentic. So they put themselves out there in the same fashion in every single social media. But, in some cases, one gal was putting herself through on all her social media, a cousin of mine, a little risky, I might say. And I was just like, whoa, girl, what are you selling here? Because, I have to say, even if you're on other social media, like say Facebook, which is not considered business oriented, any of the social medias will be a representation of you and your business. And you want to be careful how you post and what you're posting where. And so let's go into LinkedIn. How do you best put your best foot forward for yourself and your business?
Yeah. I look at LinkedIn and there is that foundational aspect of the profile, right? That's your calling card. It's your business card. It's your brand. It's when people, when it's that feeling that people get, when after you leave the room, what are they thinking about you? Right.
Yeah.
And so, we want to make sure that profile is always up to date, but it's also future oriented. It's not just an obituary, right? So that's an important piece of it. Once you have that foundation, then it's the activity on LinkedIn.
Can we stop? I want to say, just stop you there. What does it mean looking at it from a future perspective? Because I've never heard that used. So what would that?
So how many times have you heard a person say, oh, I feel pigeonholed. I feel stuck. I want opportunities, but it's always the same stuff. I can't seem to jump. I can't seem to move forward. And it's because you've branded yourself so perfectly for where you are.
Got it.
And so if you do want more opportunities, better clients, whatever it might be, what is the story that you're telling? I bet that story is maybe not just current, maybe it's a few years in the past. It's so easy for us not to even see how we're representing ourselves, right? And we are representing ourselves in a manner that's very comfortable for us. Maybe a little too comfortable. So that's what I mean by future forward. It's really saying to yourself, wait, it's not just who am I today, but who do I want to be? And let me start to paint that picture so I can make that forward movement.
Wow. So would this be kind of putting out a future self, but that kind of faking it until you're actually there? Or what does that look like? Because I'm thinking it's a very fine line where you could be painting stuff you really don't have the expertise behind it to back up the skills yet.
Well, I think it's better to think of it like this, and that is, what do you do today that aligns you to that future state? And what are you doing today that you don't want to keep doing? Let's stop talking about that.
Good one. Good one.
So it's almost culling. It's culling the things that you don't want. And it's magnifying the things that you do want. I am in no way saying to be inaccurate, to be unethical. That is not the right way to move forward. But I am saying, be very clear. Where do you want to go? And what are you doing today that aligns to that future state? And that's what you want to talk about.
Love it. Okay. Got it. Okay. So all right. So we started there. You've got the future self down. Now I interrupted where your flow, but I was just like dying to see how that would flow out because I never heard that used before.
Yeah, it's a different way of thinking, but
Mhm.
it makes sense. And for my clients, so many of them, they're stuck. They're pigeonholed, and they don't know why. They're like,
Yeah.
I have all of the abilities. I have the skill sets.
Mhm.
Why am I not moving forward? Well, they become my client, and we start to look and we start to say, wait, why are you talking about these things from 15 years ago?
Yeah.
Because LinkedIn is run on an algorithm, right? And that algorithm is looking for keywords, it's looking for matches. And everything that you're feeding it, it's using to help you, hit that opportunity. But if you're filling it with all of the stuff from your past, you're not going to be delivered the right opportunity. So we've got to cut that stuff out, and we've got to really magnify and say, all right, where do you want to go?
It's interesting. I think some people get comfortable, as you said, with the past is, oh, I got that. I had some good wins back there. But those are wins from 20 years ago, 15 years ago. Where are your wins today or yesterday or a year ago?
Yeah. Yeah. It's what have you done for us lately? Right.
Yeah, exactly.
But once you have that profile in an optimized manner where it's branded, it tells your story. And let me just say this, Christina, it's not easy. Don't think that this is something that you can do in 5 minutes. Don't think it's something that you can do in an hour or two, right? Because that happens to all of us, where we see a task at hand, we assume it's going to take a small amount of time, and then we can't ever seem to chip away at it, because it really is something that needs time to really bake, to develop. And it's hard to write about yourself. There's that thing called procrastinating. Have you ever heard that, where you don't do something because it's so terrible, you'd rather clean. So you procrastinate by cleaning or doing some other odious task. And that often happens with the LinkedIn profile. So recognize that it's important. You may need help to do it, and to do it right. And there's nothing wrong with that, because it is hard to write about yourself. But once you have that foundation, you're not just on LinkedIn in a silent way. Now you have to start to engage, because there's that LinkedIn feed, and the LinkedIn feed is comprised of your network and their musings, right? So all of the people that you're connected to and they're connected to, as they post and people are engaging with the content, that is the LinkedIn feed. And that is where you can network in your pajamas.
And it's cool, because I think that piece is missing in a lot of social media, because that's where you can, when people put out stuff and you actually truly engage, not just say a one word, oh, that's nice, I like the article or something. And then people are feeling, oh yeah, I remember you. And, and then you really begin to make those connections that maybe then later you can take offline and grow even further.
Yeah. And with LinkedIn, what LinkedIn wants, and they've stated this, their mission is that the LinkedIn feed is the people talking about the things you care about. And so what does your audience care about? What do you care about? What is your advice in your career? What's going on in your industry? What are tips? What are tricks? What is the value? How can you educate? That is what should really inform what you're posting. But for a lot of people, it's hard to just start posting on LinkedIn, because it is professional and there's so many people that they know. And is their boss going to be angry? Are their clients going to wonder? So people often will put up hurdles that prevent them from posting. And so in my mind, and this is the right way to get onto LinkedIn, and that is to say, look, don't worry about posting just yet. Instead, scroll through your feed and engage with the content that is there. And the way you engage, it's not just liking. It's not liking. Liking is just
like. Yeah.
It doesn't help you. It doesn't help you. Instead, skew the like button. Instead, jump into the comments. And when you see something that really moves you, leave a comment, and leave a comment that maybe it adds your own little, your own input, your own opinion, your own thoughts, your own memories, your own advice.
Yeah.
And you don't have to do 90 of them a day. That's insane. There's no way. There's just no way. If you try to do 90, it's going to devolve into great idea, fabulous, wonderful. It's going to turn into those one word responses that help nobody. So maybe say to yourself, you know what? In the morning, I'm going to grab my cup of coffee. I'm going to scroll through my LinkedIn feed. I'm going to spend 10 minutes. 10 minutes. And I think everybody has 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Go through, and if you can leave 1 or 3 comments, and you can come back maybe towards noon or the end of the day and to see, did anyone respond to those comments? And if they did respond to the comment, respond to them. Try to get that back and forth conversation taking place.
Yeah. That is so important. I find that a lot of people, whether even if they post things, they don't realize the greater engagement doesn't come with the post. It comes with the back and forth dialogue and sharing. If it, sometimes if it's phenomenal, I'll say, I'd love to share this if that's okay. It's a great topic, because that alone gets their message out in a deeper way, and also gets your crew getting to see great content and also expand on that great content as well.
Reposting is performing better on LinkedIn. For a very long time, you would hit the share button and it was crickets, and it didn't even help the post. So it was crazy. But LinkedIn has shifted the algorithm yet again. It's always constantly changing. They're always fine tuning it. But that algorithm now, if you repost someone's content, it helps that post do better. So you're promoting them, and you're also helping that post get seen by not just your own network, but more eyes just in general. If you want your repost to do better on its own, what you want to do is add context. So don't just repost it. Boom, repost it, but add your own context. So say why you like this information so much. Say what moved you. Give a little bit. And then you'll see that repost that you've put out there is going to perform a bit better as well.
Yeah. Well, people know why you posted it. What does it mean for you? Yeah, exactly. Now, I would like to touch really shortly on the visual component, because yes, it's very important to write out and optimize your own profile and future self and where you want to go, where you're at today. But I also think people don't pay attention enough to the visual component. Like, how are you portraying yourself because I know when I go look at a potential client or person I'm going to collaborate with, I go first to their LinkedIn page and get a sense of their personality just through the picture they put up or pictures they put up.
Yeah. And LinkedIn has become so much more visual. So there's the background graphic that should illustrate your brand. So if you're looking at your profile and you see something that looks kind of like gray and stripy in the background, that means you didn't upload a background image. So great opportunity, upload one. But really, really think to yourself, how do I want to portray myself? How do I want to be seen? And, choose an image that it illustrates your brand. Maybe as a business owner, you want an image of your company, of your team, of your logo. All of that works. So, think how you want to be seen. That profile picture, make sure that it's not pixelated. Make sure there's no one else in it. Make sure that you look pleasant, that you're smiling, that you look friendly. That's important. But there's another section which is relatively new. It's called the featured section, and so few people utilize it. And it's such a wonderful area. But the featured section you just added by hitting, add to profile, and you can say add the featured section, and there you can tag posts, you can add pictures, you can add videos from YouTube, you can add links out to your website or your services page, but you can really create almost a portfolio on your LinkedIn profile through this embedded content.
Yeah, I've used that particular section for some of our best highlighted interviews and stuff with top-notch guests and a couple of live events we did. It's great for people to be like, whoa, that's what they did. And so it can give you a total bigger picture of that person other than just the picture up front or the logo. And, for years, I think I just used like a solid, not the one that just the stripy thingy, but I put like my favorite color up there. And then I decided, I saw one of the past guests I liked was recently on my show. I went to his Facebook page and he had like the top banner of his book. I was like, that's such a great idea. I have a book. Why don't I do that? So I did. And so I redid it with my book cover. And I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. Why didn't I think of that sooner? Yeah, that was his idea that he gave to me. So
Oh, that's a fabulous one. What I recently did with my background graphic, because I had one for years. It was always, it was very much like my book as well.
yeah.
But what I decided to do is I thought, what are the different components of me? And I said, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a speaker. I'm a podcast guest. I'm a writer. I'm a consultant, and I'm a mother and wife. And so I found images that illustrated all of those different parts of me. And I made a collage, a little bit of a montage on my background graphic. And I like it. I like it a lot. I feel it really gives a person who wants to know who I am, just that little glimpse that says, yeah, this is who I am in a nutshell.
I love it. This has been so fabulous. We could go on for many more hours, but I want everyone to find out more about you and how they can work with you. How can they do that?
Well, they can visit my profile on LinkedIn. I'm there every day, it seems. But you can also visit my website. It's linkedin-makeover.com.
I love that. So linkedin-makeover.com. Go there, everyone, today. And I think they can find you on Facebook as well under LinkedIn Makeover, and under Instagram, Donna Serdula.
Actually, Vision Board Spotlight is the Instagram handle. I mean, you can also find me on Donna Serdula too, but it's more of a personal.
Oh, okay. That's the one they gave me. That's great. Well, I thank you so much for coming today, Donna, and sharing your great wisdom. I know it's going to help a lot of business owners. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
You betcha.
Like, subscribe, and share this episode. To listen to more savvy episodes and savvy biz tips, go to www.lifeunscriptedradio.com. To find out about our paid sponsorship opportunities or how to become a guest, email Christina at lifeunscriptedradio.com.